car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
And that is precisely what we will be speaking of the next 30 minutes here. Low overhead country, better known as Frontier Motors, the owner of that fine establishment here in the studio, Ivan Streckel, ready, willing, and more than able to answer any questions that you may have. If you would like to ask about the price of a car or a truck or an SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in, he's the man. Give us a call, 478-3116, 478-3116. And without further ado, I introduce to you Mr. Streckel. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Don, thanks so much for the introduction. Again, once again, we have a double format. We are, this is on audio tape for 1370 AM radio. So if you're listening to this on talk radio, this is a call-in show. You can dial 478-3116. And also, if you're watching this on TV, we're videotaping this for our Blab TV customers in the Pensacola area. And we've been doing this going on 19 years now to get the word out that there's a dealership in Pensacola that's here not just to sell you a car, but to help you with advice on when you're in the car buying mode. And that could be at any time. Some people say, well, I'm going to keep my car for 15 years and run to the ground. And some people get whacked at the red light, and all of a sudden they're forced in the market because their car has unfortunately been totaled, and now they need to replace that car. And one of the things that we do for advice is we tell people what you should be getting from the insurance company. So before you settle, you might want to check with Frontier Motors, and we'll give you an idea of what you should be allocated for that particular car that just got totaled. The other thing we help you with also is diminished value. If your car gets in an accident, what we can do for you is tell you what the value of this vehicle has now been decreased based on the fact that you have been in an accident. And especially if it's a major accident, what we do is we put our diminished values in writing. So we'll give you a letter that you can take back to the insurance company saying that Frontier Motors has said that they feel that my vehicle's value has diminished by $4,000, for example. And we put that in writing and give it to you so you can go back to the insurance company, and hopefully they will help you by giving you a check to help you when you're ready to trade that car in, because obviously the value has now been compromised if you've been in a major accident that has not been your fault. Now, again, this is a call-in show, so if you need some advice on what your car should be worth, you can give us a call at 478-3116. And there's a couple different ways that we give you a value on a car, and anybody can get on the internet. I've got a computer in front of me, and if you Google used car values, you're going to come up with a Kelly Blue Book. Everybody has probably heard of the Kelly Blue Book, maybe the Edmunds, and maybe a consumer's version of the NEDA. The books that we use is an official NEDA guidebook, and these books right here that I'm using, you can't get off the internet. One of them is the NEDA, which is what our banks and credit unions and most of our insurance companies in our area are supposed to be using to value a car in case it has to be replaced. So that's one book that we use. The other book we use is a black wholesale guidebook. And the black book is what is going on at the auctions, and these are printed by the Hearst publications, and they're printed, the truck book is printed every 2 weeks, and the car book is printed every week. As a matter of fact, I don't even subscribe to the book anymore. This is an old book that I use just to show people because we have everything on computer. The third thing we use is the Manheim Auction Report. And if you don't know what Manheim is, we're lucky enough to have a Manheim auction right here in Pensacola on W Street. And Manheim is the largest auction chain in the world. I believe they have over 100 auctions worldwide. And we're lucky enough to have, I think it's 13 of them in the Florida area. And I think with the surrounding states that we have, there's about 20 auctions that Manheim owns that I have representatives at. And in the South alone, we have about 20 to 25,000 cars that run through the Manheim auctions every week just in the South. And what happens as soon as those cars are sold, it goes into a report. Matter of fact, it's so instantaneous now. A lot of times it happens like a half an hour after the car is sold. I can already go in the post sales, even though the auction might not be over with, that particular car is sold, and I can get into the reports, and it'll tell me what a particular car has just sold for at the Manheim auctions. And when we talk about auctions real quick, I do want to mention a lot of people will ask me sometimes, Ivan, where do you get your cars at Frontier Motors? Well, some of the cars we get from private individuals like yourself. If you're selling a car, don't put it on Craigslist. Bring it to Frontier Motors, and I'll write you a check for it. The other thing that we do is we take a lot of cars in trade, so a big percentage of our cars are from private individuals that have traded their car in either for something completely different than what they have, or they're just upgrading into a newer car. And the third place that we get our cars from is the Manheim auction. A lot of people sometimes frown when I mention the word auction because they think of it negatively. And 35 years ago when I got in the car business, as a matter of fact, I was a lot kid. And I remember that our dealership in the Milwaukee area where I worked, they took their junk to the auction. That's where you took the cars you didn't want, the cars that didn't pass inspection. Well, folks, a lot of things have changed in those 35 years. And right now, the auction is one of the best ways that you can get a car. And one of the reasons that the auctions are great, especially the Manheim auctions, because if you buy a car there under the green light, which means it's all inspected, it's ready to go, they guarantee that car for you. So if I buy a car that has a problem with the title, for example, if it's a salvage title, we call it gray market vehicles in the auto industry. And most people know what that is when I talk about a lemon law buyback, for example, or an odometer problem where the odometer isn't correct that's being read out, or if it has been a salvage title, a flood damaged vehicle, a police vehicle, believe it or not, or a municipal vehicle has to be a gray market vehicle where it has to be disclosed. And those things, what happens if the auction screws up and sells me a car like that, they will give me my money back, and then I can give you your money back. So in other words, if it ever happened where they ran a vehicle as green light and we found out later it had a title problem or the vehicle had been salvaged, everybody is protected, which is not true from a private individual. So if somebody does something bad and they get the car totaled, they buy the car back and they fix it up. And I've seen body shops do this, not so much in Florida because Florida is highly regulated, but there are some states that aren't as regulated where this could happen, where a salvage car could fall through the cracks. And we heard it happening years ago when we had Hurricane Ivan, that there were cars that had water past the floorboards, which would make them a totaled vehicle based on flood damage. That vehicle customers were just vacuuming the cars out and selling them. Well, that's illegal. Those are salvage title cars. The auction guarantees them, which makes me happy to be able to sell a vehicle like that because I have the green light that I will be protected in case I do sell a bad car. That's like new, but I want a low mileage one because I want to save a lot of money on a car that might be a 15 model. And I'll give you a couple examples, folks. The 2015 Hyundai Santa Fe we have with 606 miles on the lot. That's going to save you thousands of dollars over a new one. We have a 2014 Jeep Wrangler with 1,063 miles on it. We have a 2014 Buick Regal with 1,065 miles on it. A Honda Civic with 2,000 miles on it. A Corolla with 2,000 miles. A Buick Encore with 2,000 miles. A Buick Enclave with 2,500 miles. A Dodge Challenger with 2,600 miles on it. A Subaru Crosstrek with 2,900 miles on it. A Honda Insight with 3,500 miles on it. A Corvette Stingray with 4,000 miles. I can go on, but what I'm getting at, folks, is that we have what we call the alternative to new. And I have an article published by Consumers Reports. I've got it right here, and I've shared this for the last time I've done the show. And the reason I share this every time I do the show, because it has it in writing. I've been talking about depreciation for 19 years, how much a car depreciates when you drive it off the lot. But I don't think I've ever seen it in writing where it actually puts numbers to what I've been talking about. Because I always say, well, they lose thousands of dollars when driving off the lot. Well, Consumers Reports did a survey, and it says, one of their articles it says on here is how much will that new car lose? And it says, cars depreciate significantly over the first few years of ownership, often more rapidly than your monthly payments are paying down the loan, putting you upside down financially. The chart below shows typical vehicle depreciation based on the average new car price. And they say the average new car price last year in 2014 for all cars sold was $34,000. That's the average. Now, some cars might have been $70,000, some cars might have been $16,000, but the average was $34,000. The average depreciation in the first year, according to Consumers Reports, is 27%, which is $9,180. That to me is quite significant. $9,100 the first year, 37% after 2 years, which is $12,580 depreciation on a 2-year-old car. That's mind-blowing. Now, that doesn't mean you can come in and save $9,100 on every particular car out there because some cars depreciate less than others. Some cars depreciate more than others. Obviously, a high-end car is going to depreciate more than $9,100, and a low-end Chevy Spark is not going to, the car only starts out at $15,000. Obviously, it's not going to lose $9,100 in the first year. But I'm giving you an example, folks, that in writing, how much money you lose in the first year. And if I were to say, what do we specialize in at Frontier Motors? I think the thing that I would say is that we specialize in the alternative to new. So if you're one of the 17 million people that are going to be buying a brand new car this year, I say don't have it be you, have it be someone else. Have it be somebody outside the Pensacola area, because I'm here to tell you can save $9,100. Well, let's put it this way, even if I made $3,000 on that one-year-old car, you would save $6,100 on the average, even by me making a bunch of money. Now, if I only marked the car up $2,000, you'd save $7,180 in the first year depreciation off of a new car purchase. Well, you could donate that money and make somebody really happy. You could put that money in the college fund. You could put that money in a lot of more important things than a brand spanking new car. Why not buy a car with 2,000 or 3,000 miles on it? And let's see how much we can save you. And I've got pages and pages of cars that have less than 15,000 miles. It doesn't add them up there, but I've got to have at least 75 cars with less than 15,000 miles on, and another 100 cars on top of that that have less than 36,000 miles, which would put them into factory warranty, which means people always ask me what happens in a used car. Well, as soon as the car gets titled, the warranty clock starts ticking. So hypothetically, if the car has a 3-year warranty, like a Chevrolet, for example, and I've got a Stingray that I have right now. Now, the Stingray I have is only 6 months old. It comes with a 36-month warranty. So being 6 months old, you've got 30 months left on the warranty, up to 36,000 miles, whichever comes first. So if you run on the miles first, if you drive 36,000 miles a year, obviously you're going to be over with quite rapidly if you're driving that many miles. The average mileage is between 12 and 15,000 miles a year. So the average person can drive, 36,000 miles. I think they should really update because our NADA guide says 15,000 miles is the average. So why haven't the warranties kept pace with America's driving habits? If the average person drives 45,000 miles in 3 years, why isn't the warranty on a Chevrolet, for example, 3 years, 45,000 miles? Never can figure that out. They got to keep pace with Hyundai and Kia and Mitsubishi, because Hyundai and Kia and Mitsubishi have a 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty. They have a better warranty than a Honda, than a Lexus, than an Acura, than a Toyota, than a Nissan. I can't figure that out, and I think that's why the percentage of sales on the Hyundai and Kia and the Mitsubishi keep going up, and they are stealing some of those sales away from Honda and Toyota only because of their warranty that they're advertising, which is a great warranty, a 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. You get just as much warranty on a 2-year-old Hyundai Sonata as a brand-new Honda Accord. And, of course, after 2 years, according to Consumers Reports, if it was a $34,000 car, that car depreciated $12,580. And that makes it such an attractive purchase at Frontier Motors. The other thing we can help you with, folks, that if you are deciding that you are going to buy a brand new car, I do get people in that say, I don't care what you say, Ivan, I'm buying a brand spanking new one. Well, what you can do is I've got the new car cost guides. Consumers Reports in the back of their magazine says you can buy a invoice for them for $14.75 is an invoice. Actually, I take that back, $14 even. You can get an invoice report for $14. You can use my invoice book at no charge. It tells me, I'll just open up the first page. I'll give you an example. It tells me that let's go to here we go. A Lexus GS 350 has a retail price of $48,600 and has an invoice price of $45,198. So just by opening up this book, I can tell you that the base markup in this car is not very big. The base markup on a Lexus is only about $1,600. Their equipment is marked up more than the base price, so the car might be marked up $3,000 or $4,000 by the time they're all done with it. But you can get that information at no charge from Frontier Motors. And the reason we do this is because there's a couple of things that we gain by you coming into Frontier Motors. Number one, we get to meet you. We get to say hello. We get to show you some of our inventory. And maybe if you're going to be buying a brand new 2015, I can show you a couple of our 2015 Lexus products that we have a lot with really low miles, and let's see how much we can save you. The other thing we can do for you, if you're one of those people, again, that have decided, I'm going to buy a brand new car, Ivan, no matter what you say, I don't care if you got a car with 500 miles on it, I'm buying brand new. Because obviously, not being a franchise dealership, I have to sell the car as used. I don't have a Lexus franchise, so it would be illegal for me to mark the new box, even though it possibly could be a brand new car, because in the state of Florida, you can sell on a certificate of origin, which is the title that the dealer gets before it actually gets titled to the first private individual. And we can sell off of that, which means that I can sell a brand new car, but I still have to disclose it as used. And then I can, the second thing I can do for you while you're at Frontier Motors, maybe take a look at that 2015 Lexus. I can, while you're looking at mine, I can do an appraisal on your car. So let's say you have a 2010 Lexus GS 350 with 70,000 miles on it. What I can do while you're looking at mine, even if you've decided to buy brand new, I'm going to look at yours and I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Customer, your car's got a wholesale value of $16,000. Make sure you work your best possible deal by using the new car cost guides that I've given you. So now, if you know how much the new car costs them, give them a reasonable profit. They're going to take off the incentives and rebates, and they're going to give you a good deal on that car, hopefully. And then you're going to toss them the keys for yours, and they're going to appraise your trade-in, your trade-in for it, and they're going to come back and say that we'll give you $14,000 for the trade-in. And you're going to say, nope, that's not going to work. And they're going to say, well, why not? Well, I was over at Frontier Motors, and they already told me that they will buy my car from me for $16,000, and I'm not even buying a car from them. Based on the fact that I'm spending $50,000 with you, I feel that you should give me even more than that. So we're going to arm you with some information to make sure that you're going to get a good deal. A friend of mine on Friday went and picked up his brand new Ram truck at Hill Kelly. He decided he's one of those guys that could afford a brand new one. He said, Ivan, I know you can save me money on a used one, but I don't care. I want to buy a brand new one. But he had a truck he was trading. And the original appraisal, from the original appraisal to what he ended up with, was $2,200 difference. In other words, I was able to help him get them to appraise the vehicle for more money. And I told him I wasn't trying to make them look bad because they ended up with the car. I was just trying to let him know, here, this is what I'll write a check for. So if they don't, just sell it to me. Go ahead and buy the new car there. But you could even trade it there and I'll buy it right from them. Well, what happened is they just reappraised the truck and kept it. And that's not the only one. We've got a really good relationship with most new car dealerships. A lot of the new car dealerships in Pensacola call us for appraisals because they're not an independent dealer. And I'll use Lexus because they're not from Pensacola as an example. If the Lexus dealership takes in a diesel pickup truck, they might call an independent dealership like Frontier Motors for an appraisal because they don't have too many people looking for diesel pickup trucks on a Lexus lot. So that's where we come in. And what we do is we'll pay top dollar for that truck because we have people coming on a lot for that particular truck. Sometimes what happens, the reason you get a low appraisal is because the dealer that you're doing business with doesn't like your vehicle. They just have a bad experience with them. There's a possibility maybe they have 5 of them on the lot. They don't need another one. It's a possibility that the last vehicle they sold, just like yours, ended up being 200 days old and they couldn't give it away and they lost $3,000 on it. So now here you come with another one and they just don't want it. It could be a money problem. It could be the fact that they have $1 million floor plan for their used car department and they're already at $2 million, which means they're excessively over. So they can't use another trade-in right now. So they call it independent for the appraisals. They might call a wholesaler, and if they call a wholesaler, it's going to cost you a little bit of money because the way the wholesaler makes money is he's going to take the vehicle and sell it either to another dealer or he's going to sell it at the auction. And the auction charges fees and shipping and things like that. So he has to back up the appraisal to be able to make money. So your vehicle, which might be worth $16,000, you might end up getting a $14,500 or a $15,000 appraisal because the dealership's not excited about the car. And folks, that's why you stop at Frontier Motors. We're located at 230 Beverly Parkway. And what we can do when you stop in at Beverly, that's the same road as Brent Lane, by the way. If you haven't been down Beverly Parkway, if you come down Brent Lane by Cordoba Mall, by Hooters that way, if you're heading west, sooner or later you're going to see a big Buffalo on the right-hand side, and that's Frontier Motors. And we've been going on business, we're going on 19 years now, In November this year, we'll be going on 20 years of business. We've been there for quite a long time. We started with 30 cars in inventory, and right now we have 351 cars. And it's really interesting when we talk about car dealerships in our area. And I have a report here that shows that, if I can find it, it shows that there are 103 dealers in our area. And I get this report from the motor vehicle department. Kind of interesting the way they do this. They give you all the results of every dealership out there. Just in our county alone, there's 75 total dealerships, and in Santa Rosa County, there's 28. That's 103 dealers, folks. That's a lot of dealers. Now, that's new and used put together. Just in Escambia County, there's 17 new car dealerships. I get the new car reports also, so I can see what they're selling versus what we're selling. It also gives me the rankings as far as who's number one, who's number two. But that's not important. That's just beating your chest. It's almost like winning Best of the Bay. It's just a way to beat your chest, I think. Sometimes we win it, sometimes we don't. We happen to win it for 2015. To me, it's not that big of a deal. I know that we're the best used car dealership, whether we win an award or not. And the only way you're going to know that is to stop in Frontier Motors and see what makes us different than most car dealerships. Like I said before, I think the biggest thing that we do differently is that we unlock our vehicles. We let you pick out a vehicle. If a customer comes and said, well, you sold me this car, I would have to disagree, Mr. Customer, because we very rarely ever sell a car. We might be doing the paperwork on a car, but customers come on our lot and they pick out a car. So I don't sell you into the Lexus. I don't sell you into a BMW or into a Jaguar if you're looking for a Highline car. If you're looking for a midsize SUV, I see that our first one that pops up is a 600-mile Hyundai Santa Fe. Well, you could pick out that car. You could pick out a 2014 Honda CR-V. You could pick out a 2014 Toyota RAV4. You could pick out the Kia Sorento. You could pick out the Ford Escape or the GMC Terrain or the Chevy Equinox. So I'm not selling you a car. You're picking one out. And then what we do is we tell you this is how much it is. You don't have to sit there and negotiate. We're going to do a lot of investigating before I give you the final price. Because I want to make sure I can give you that price with honesty. I can put that price in writing. I can add on the taxes and the fees and the tag transfer. And I can say, here's what we can do. And I can say, Mr. Customer, if you're not sure if that's a good price, go shop. Go to another dealer and find out. Now, I've already done my shopping before I give you that price because I want you to come back. A lot of people will take me up on it and say, you know what, you're correct. I am not sure if that's the best deal or not, even though I can show them in writing. But a lot of people still, if they're not previous customers of Frontier Motors, they're going to take me up on my shopping and they're going to say, okay, I'm going to go shop, and if you're the best deal, I'll be back. Every once in a while, I might lose somebody's sale, and usually I'll lose somebody's sale not because of the price and not because of the vehicle, but because of the color. People always say, what's the number one reason you sell a car? Because it's a good color. The people like it. And I'll lose a deal on color. Let's say I got a black one, you want a white one, or vice versa. Or you want a red one or a blue one. So what we try to do is we try to stock multiple colors. In Lexus, for example, we have 18 Lexus products in stock right now. We try to stock white ones and black ones and burgundy ones with different color of interiors. Some of them that are really loaded up. Some of them that are more basic. Because some people don't care about navigation. They don't care about all-wheel drive. They don't care about a panoramic sunroof. So what I try to do is keep enough vehicles in stock that I can make everybody happy. And if that doesn't work, the next thing we do is say, let me get your information and let me go buy that car for you. Let's say, for example, I've got a white Lexus in stock with navigation, but it has black leather interior. And you say, I'd buy that car if it didn't have black leather interior. Well, my first comeback would be, it's got air-conditioned seats, so who cares? Because people think about black being hotter. So I buy them with air-conditioned seats. But if that doesn't work, then I'll say, let me do this for you, Mr. Customer. Let me work out the price on mine, and let me get you the one with the interior that you like. So let's make sure that the price is okay, your trade-in value is okay. If you're going to finance it, I want to make sure you know what the payments are going to be, what the interest rate's going to be. I want to make sure that everything is approved by you. And then without a signature and without a deposit, I go out and buy you that car with the understanding that it has to pass your inspection. Now, people will say, well, how do I know if I'm going to like it? Well, you're going to like the Lexus. You like the color. You like the price. I've already told you the price. You like the trade-in value. The only reason you wouldn't buy it if I brought it back and it was a complete rat. It had dings and scratches and nicks on it. Well, I wouldn't buy it either. And that way we leave you that out. And that's why we don't ask for a deposit or signature, so you can walk away if I buy you a bad car. But of course, If I buy you a beautiful car and it's a non-smoker, clean history report, no paint work, absolutely flawless in the color that you want at the price that we discussed, of course, I would expect you to take it. We do it on a handshake. It works very well for us that we locate between 15 and 20 extra cars a month on customers that come in, but they're very specific on what they're looking for, so they're not willing to compromise on the vehicle, but yet they don't want to buy blindly. In other words, they don't want to buy on eBay, they don't want to buy on car, they don't want to go travel. They don't know if the dealer's going to give them a good value for the trade-in. You know, they might have a good price and they might have a good picture online, but you get there, the vehicle doesn't smell right. There's something just not right about it. You can see the two panels have been painted on. The inside of the tires are kind of edgy because they didn't rotate the tires. And these are the things that we look for when we buy a car to make sure that when I buy that car for you, the car is going to pass your inspection. We talked about diminished value a little bit. We talked about the fact that we help you buy a brand new car if you want to buy a brand new car. We've also talked about the fact that we will buy your car from you, whether you buy a car from us or not. There's a dealer, a local dealer has a big billboard. I'm not going to tell you who it is because I don't want, they're already mad at us, I'm sure. But it says that we'll buy you your car, whether you buy a car from us or not. And we're the only dealer in Pensacola that does that. Well, that's false advertising. That's not true. And I know we're not the only dealer that does that. There's a lot of dealers that will buy your car. The problem that you have sometimes, they're only going to buy a car that they are selling on their car lot. And if they're franchise dealerships, for example, again, if you're going to an Acura dealership and you're trying to sell them a pickup truck, they're not too excited about it. And that's why it behooves you to come to Frontier Motors, because we sell all makes and models. So we're not prejudiced against any type of vehicle. I don't care if you got a Mini Cooper. I don't care if you got a Grand Marquis, a pickup truck, a Sequoia. It doesn't matter to me. There are times where I don't want your vehicle, but I have other people that do. For example, if you bring me a beater with a heater, so to speak, 200,000-mile car that's barely running, and you say, well, you advertise that you buy cars. I do, but this particular one I'm not going to put on my lot, but I have a buyer that deals in older cars, and I can buy that car from you, and I'll just sell it to him for that same price. So these are all things that we can help you with, folks, and we're running out of time, so I do want to let you know that that we're located at 230 Beverly Parkway. We've been in business for 19 years. We have 351 cars on lot. If you Google Frontier Motors, we're the first one that shows up. You can go on our website. We have 31 detailed photographs. Every one of our vehicles has a price. You can call or text or email Frontier Motors for additional information. If there's any negotiating to be done, we can do that immediately. Sometimes the price that I put online is the best price I can possibly do. Sometimes I still got a little bit of wiggle room. So make sure you get a hold of us, and I'll let you know which particular situation we're in. Please call us if you want to sell your car, because I can give you an appraisal over the phone. You don't have to bring it in if you're from out of town. We can appraise your car over the phone. We can write you a check when you come in. The only thing we ask you to do is give us the condition of the vehicle before you come in. We can run free history reports from you. If you got your neighbor's car you want to buy, call Frontier Motors and I'll run a history report on that car at no charge. These are just some of the things that we can do at Frontier Motors. So if you need advice, you know where to go. Frontier Motors, 230 Beverly Parkway. Google FrontierMotorsInc.com. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors. Low overhead country.